There's a thing sweeping Denver. It's called Osweiler time. A team that was down 21-7 going into the fourth quarter. Especially this guy. You're happy about C.J. Anderson, by the way.
What
also doing some work. Doing some work finally at the running back position. And then you look at the plays and the throws that were made by Osweiler are pretty darn good as well. They came back and ended up beating the Patriots in overtime. Now you look at this game and you look at what he's done. In just 2 games of work, he's 2-0. You beat the Patriots, who were undefeated. Does this mean so long Peyton Manning in his time with the Denver Broncos?
Better start writing his retirement speech. He's done. Like I said it last week. If he comes out and he beats, I said if he doesn't even beat the Patriots, if he has a good game against the Patriots, he takes over a starter.
So he beats them. That just means it's done.
How do you not put this guy in? He beat the New England Patriots. He's 2-0. Your team's fighting for a playoff spot. You got to go with that guy. Manning, I'm sorry, you haven't played up to the level that is Peyton Manning that we want to know. You put the guy in who's going to win for you. Right now, it's Brock Osweiler.
Well, Tracy, and maybe you could throw this in for us. I know you've come from a coaching background. So if you were to put yourself in the mind of the Broncos head coaching staff there, and you decide to say, you know, we got a great veteran, a future Hall of Famer, a great player, we all know that, but he's struggling, and you decide to go with a rookie. Obviously, we ultimately know that in this job, it's a results-based business. Yeah. You don't want to get fired. So would you have gone the way the Broncos have done it? And if not, or so, just tell us why.
Absolutely. You know, when you're looking for the result, the end result, you need to go with who's hot. And if someone is struggling, well, obviously you've got to explain to them, sorry, but, you know, we've had that kind of rapport all season that if you're hot, and if you're not, you're not.
How do you do that even if you had kids on your team? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's different because these are grown adults making lots of money.
Totally. You know,
but as kids,
it's exactly the same.
Exactly.
You treat them the same.
In our level, because it is mostly minor players that we deal with, you not only have to have that whole rapport with the kid, but with the parents as well. So you're not just dealing with an athlete. You know, you're reaping the repercussions of that decision with the parents. So
all I'm waiting for is Archie Manning to come out and have a sit down with John Elway, the ownership, and everybody on that and the coaching staff for the Broncos.
I just want to see my son play one more game.
Yeah, if you don't, I'll quit. I swear to God, I'm taking him, moving him to New Orleans or somewhere. We'll move on anyways to a different subject. This one, I guess it'll be on the same vein. If you look at it, the team that the Broncos beat, the Patriots, that is, what do you do now? I know that the good news is that you have a guy like, I guess in this case, Rob Gronkowski, who's just got a bruised knee, so it's not the end of the world. But you look at the calls that went against him in that game against the Broncos. Do you feel that they were cheated by the referees, particularly in that one, I guess, non-pass interference call? Or do you feel that maybe because it is the Patriots after all,
what comes around goes around?
Exactly. Maybe they've been cheated. They were caught for cheating. I guess in this case.
What time?
well, allegedly Deflategate. We'll leave that aside. But I'm talking about Spygate, 07. They were caught spying on other teams and getting their play calls, their signals. Don't you feel maybe a little bit, vindication or karma, if you will, that they ended up losing this game?
I think 98% of the people who hate the New England Patriots are perfectly okay with that.
Oh, very happy.
Well, are you guys okay with it, or are you just like it was a bad call, but it's the Patriots, so it's okay?
You shouldn't be putting yourself in that situation, especially against a team like the Broncos, where a play will come down, and now we're going to talk about it forever and discuss. Well, is that the reason why they lost? No one will ever actually know. We all know that, and that's the nature of sports. But you're putting yourself in a position where a penalty or a missed penalty could cost the game. And we just talked earlier, this league doesn't have you can challenge pass interference or any penalty for that matter. So, you can't put yourself in a position. If you want to win, go win the game, do what you have to do. Patriots obviously know how to do other things to win, but don't put yourself in a position where you have to now blame the NFL or blame the referees for missing a call. You missed how many opportunities to score, win the game yourself.
Moving over to a serious topic now, the National Hockey League might be in a little more hot water. It turns out several players are suing the NHL. And not just that, but also wanting all the emails to be unearthed and put out in public for the court's purposes. If you look at what the concussion rate is or has been for these players, a lot of them are angry because, look, we were forced to play even though we didn't feel well. And I guess maybe that's the culture of the sport, who knows. But you look at what the potential ruling could be. Do you feel that the NHL is in some serious hot water?
Absolutely. And from my background as an NCCP Master Learning Facilitator, we take concussions very seriously. It's the do not harm rule. These guys, at the top, they're making the big bucks and making all the serious rules. They've got to start stepping back and, looking at people's livelihoods and their lives after that. More importantly, because a lot of them are young fathers perhaps, or they've got other things that they're going to have to do after they're done their sport. If they are challenged mentally or physically because of some altercation on the ice, that's not good.
You want to take a hard stance on concussions, and that's what sports wants to do, but yet you're holding back information. And you look at some of the emails and the way they're talking, you're wondering how far you're actually coming. That's what scares me. You read some of the stuff they say, and it's
they sell the rivalries.
Yeah, you can't,
and the whole point is making sure they sell hate.
And I'm all for selling rivalries, and you should, but selling people getting hurt is not. That's
Exactly.
not sport. That's like Roman sport back in wherever with tigers in the cage and stuff. Like, that's the problem I have with all this, is that you're actually going through and read those emails. They're people that aren't maybe in the year 2015, and that's what scares me about who, what, and I'm so happy Colin Campbell's gone after reading some of his responses to things. It scares me, the fact that this guy was the head of all of this nonsense going on.
Player safety and suspensions. He did mention in one of the emails that he sent to one of the media types, I guess Bob McKenzie from TSN, was if he had the balls, he would do something. But I'm not going to necessarily blame Colin Campbell, because you got to look at it as a fraternity. If one steps out of line or speaks out, he's going to have the rest of the gang to make sure his life is going to be a living hell in that case. I don't know the extent if that's how it was going to be, but you definitely know Colin Campbell's, reputation would definitely take a hit if he did come out with this. So it's very interesting to see what the courts will decide, and if this is going to jeopardize the NHL in any way or cost them some big dollars with the players that are suing. Very quickly, we'll still talk about the NHL. This one a little bit different. Montreal Canadiens, Carey Price, out for 6 weeks. Another strain. This one a little more serious than it was before. Did they rush the guy, for one? And secondly, how bad will they miss him for now 6 weeks? Never mind 5 or 6 games.
I understand he is the number one goalie, but you know what? This is kind of giving the other guy to sell himself, and maybe, maybe Price won't be the number one goalie in the league or for their team. I really think if this guy can go out and win some games, he's going to make a better team of the Canadiens.
I think Condon, the backup right now, who's going to be filling in that role.
Exactly.
And
what are your thoughts on this? Are they going to be in trouble, or are they going to be okay with?
You are in trouble when you lose arguably the top goalie in the league. There's no other, and considering Montreal wins and dies by Carey Price most nights, so this is where, in a sense, trying to look at the bright side of things, this is where maybe the best thing is for Montreal, because now you can see where the rest of your team is at before going into the trade deadline. You get Price back around the trade deadline, but can we win without this guy? Can we win? Are we more than just a good goalie? Well, now you're going to find out, because you have to score, you still have to play defense, and you have to play defense even more now. So now you're going to see those holes in your team.
Well, and that's just it. As a coach, first thing that comes to my mind is I better tighten up on everything else now. We need to go out and score more goals. We need to be defensively better, more sound in our game. So you can't just rely on one guy to win a game. Maybe
they're going to take as many risks defensively as they would have if they had Price in net.
That doesn't sell tickets. Like PK Subban's not happy about that.
Well, hey, you know what? If he ends up being a shutdown guy, adds to his game. The guy's not only is a front runner as is for the Norris Trophy, I think he'd be the number one guy overall, in my opinion. All right, guys, we're going to take a commercial break. Thanks for playing this, but we're not over, because we got over under next.